Alright, so now we're going to go through this in a clockwise fashion. Go ahead and start out staring at, from the center, staring at mountain. Alright, mountain trigram represents stillness. Alright, stillness, still and strong like a mountain. A mountain doesn't move. A mountain is shaped like a triangle, like a pyramid. It cannot be moved. It's not easily disturbed. It is the Jing form, manifestation, representation of stillness on earth. Okay, so now I'll go ahead and turn to the next one, thunder. Alright, so we call it thunder. I like to say lightning, just because thunder is more like a byproduct of everything that the trigram of thunder represents, as far as I'm concerned. From stillness, inspiration can enter in. When a mind is still, inspiration will strike. You will clear out the static and then allow for inspiration. You'll allow for, heaven's sort of wisdom light to shine down and illuminate the pineal gland, if you will, if that's, your modality. So that's inspiration. You can see sort of there's maybe like a lightning strike and then boom, expansion. All right, sound moving out, wind moving out. It creates movement. All right, so we move over to wind. All right, next trigram is wind. You have movement. So now the mountain, the mind was still. There was a lightning bolt. There was expansion. Now there's wind. There's movement. If you have a whole bunch of movement, say you're kind of scattered, you have a little bit of stillness here and there, a lot of lightning strikes here and there, but they're more like sparks. Now you just have chaotic wind. It's going to spread your leaves and stuff and trash all over your lawn, and that's what your mind is going to be like, completely scattered. However, if you have directed wind and it sort of mixes and spins and moves, and it'll actually gather stuff into a specific place. Wind like a tornado, it's very concentrated. That's what you want. So this is where you start to gather your information. It's gathering from the lightning strike. It's gathering the information. It came down in bolt, and then you have to kind of figure it out so that you can deal with this with your beta, linear, critical thinking mind. All right. So that's that experience, just kind of sorting out the inspiration. Let's move into fire. Now, fire, this is vision. Your mind was still, you had a lightning bolt, you had inspiration, it started to spin and start to gather information in a coherent manner. And now, well, ideally in a coherent manner, now you have vision. Now the imagery is available. In a meditation, if you're pretty scattered, then you're going to have constant flickering imagery, like you're constantly changing the channel. And so it's not even a meditation at all. In a single pointed focus meditation, then you have direct vision. You have something that you can actually work with and build from. You have focus. So that's ideal. This is vision, this is fire, this is something that creates light. The only thing really on earth that creates light is fire. Fire is the experience of transformation. It's a manifestation of chi that is very ethereal, but we can see it, and it is exuding light. When your eyes are shut, there's no sunlight or artificial light coming into your consciousness, but your visual cortex is stimulated. That is vision, that is fire. That is your next step in the post-heaven arrangement. Post-heaven being when consciousness has dropped into form. That's where we operate. So now move on to earth. Earth, yin of yin of yin. This is, now we start to precipitate reality into our physical environment. This is getting to work. You've had your vision, now you go out and you do something about it. You make it happen. Alright, but the thing is, you are moving from inspiration, not moving from need, from perceived need. You were still, you had inspiration, you gathered information, you had vision, and now you're inspired to move. When you have inspiration, make it through all these trigrams, all the way up to your activities on the planet, then nothing is difficult. Pulling up the trash is usually less than inspiring, especially if it doesn't stink yet. And so someone tells you to do it, especially, it's not a co-creative experience, someone else told you to do it, you're less than inspired, all you have to do is pull the strings, lift it out of the can, tie it in a knot, and throw it outside. It's really easy, but it's out of inspiration, and so often it doesn't happen until something starts to stink. However, people will move mountains, they will build magnificent, beautiful things with seemingly effortless ease when they are inspired. That is because they started with inspiration, and they were very deliberate and focused in getting it all the way to the point where they're precipitating reality into their physical life experience. Now we move on to valley. Valley is abundance, and also like joyous action and behavior. This is actually enjoying the fruits of your labor. All right, it's funny that we put so much emphasis on abundance and so much emphasis on having fun and joyous activity, and it's only 1/8 of the equation. And work, in this culture, that's earth, we tend to put so much emphasis on work, and it's only 1/8 of the equation. Don't get imbalanced. So here it is. Enjoy the fruits of your labor. Enjoy your prosperity when it comes, but be without attachment. You know, this is the honeymoon period. And when the honeymoon is over, it's like the first 3 months of a relationship too. It's like right here. This is the inspiring part. All right? Move into your next trigram, heaven. Heaven represents presence. Present moment awareness and allowing of all things to be as they are without resistance. Non-attachment, non-judgment, non-resistance. This is presence. This is the now. This is the trigram that Eckhart Tolle speaks so much of. This is the one that is usually forgotten. This is the one that creates so much stress because it is forgotten, it is missed, it's bypassed. People enjoy abundance and become addicted to it, and they move straight into whatever they think was the cause of the abundance, instead of moving where they should into this. When the honeymoon period is over, we'll often become distressed because we can't just allow things to follow the natural order of things. The one that you're standing on now is the yin-yang, it's Tao. It is the natural circulation of energy, and it represents the movement of this, the balanced movement and of energy through these energetic positions. When it's time for this, you have to experience it. You be present with it. You be present with everything that's coming, the rise and fall of all things. Everything happens in waves. Everything has its high points, its low points. Accept it. In form, you're dealing with time, you're dealing with impermanence. Everything grows, everything dies. If that's how you look at really, life is continuous. If you can be present and recognize it will eventually get you to stillness. The emptiness, as Buddhists call it, how nothing has any properties in and of itself. You know, abundance of an experience, of an emotion, isn't really what you're looking for. You're looking for balance. You're looking to feel good. You're looking for joy, and what that comes from is allowing things to just be as they are and manipulating them only as you are inspired to do. And then life becomes incredibly easy. It's just so easy to forget this one especially. Let's move on to our next one. This is water. This is reflection. Once you experience your presence, then you can reflect on the entire situation, the entire experience that you just went through. Where could we go better? How could I do better? How could I? This is where we step out of the present moment consciously. We'll look into our past to see how we could do better in the future. But this is also a sort of meditation. This isn't something you do mindlessly. Reflection isn't something you do mindlessly. Why? Because if it's mindless, you will create by default. You will fall into default patterns of thought, and you will just sort of ruminate on the ones that are most addictive, and it's not constructive. So be conscious in your reflection. Do it from a place of presence. This has its time. You do move through time, but you do it deliberately, never by default. Okay? So once you've done your reflection, now you're ready to move into stillness. You've had your process, you had fun playing in the world of form and creating deliberately based on your last moment of inspiration. And then you reflected upon it so that your next process can be even better. This is the process of growth, which is nothing but expanding awareness. Okay, and so you move into stillness once again. This and presence are really where we bring ourselves into a space of humility, let go and let God, as some will say, and just understand that the will and intent of the Tao runs through you, or the will and intent of your higher self, or the inspiring force of your life runs through you. It is not really your little me, your little ego. You're just along for the ride and enjoying it and given the option to take credit for it because it's fun. All right? So you move into stillness with humility, or else you'll never be still. You move into stillness, and then you just continue your process. That is post-heaven arrangement. That is how the I Ching describes the movement of ideas in your life experience. And it helps you to be very deliberate, especially if you can recognize where you are in the process.